Good morning, I have come on to show you these IKEA Tolsby frames. Now I've made these for my classroom. I've been making them over the summer but in bits and bobs. And I just wanted to show you in case there's any teachers out there that want to get any ideas. Sorry, my hand's a bit shaky today so I'm a bit wiggly. So I'll start with these ones here. These ones just didn't fit in the Tolsby frames, and practically everything that I've got printed here is from Twinkle, which I pay a subscription to. So a lot of these are paid, so you would have to purchase the subscription, but this isn't an endorsement from Twinkle, I just happen to have it. So these ones are just like a little booklet of synonyms. So you've got different synonyms for different feelings at the beginning, and then you've got synonyms for said and other words like asked, shouted, replied, etc. I'm going to be teaching year 2 this year. Spag's a massive part of that year, and synonyms particularly, it's about expanding their vocabulary and things. So I made little booklets that we can just pull out whenever we're doing story writing. And then these are the frames. Now these frames are £1 from IKEA, and they come with plastic inside and you use it as like a frame. But what I've done is I've taken the plastic out the inside and then used 1-inch book rings to attach things on the top. So I'll start with this one since it's in my hand. These are the maths ones. My maths was blue, so I used the little blue rings to match. And on this we've got maths vocabulary. This is mostly because when you give a child a problem, sometimes it will say, you know, if I shared, things like that, and they go, oh, I'm not sure what shared means. And then they would find shared in the vocabulary and go, oh, it means I need to divide. So it's a really good idea. With these ones, I've double-sided them, because the next page is the other two, the multiply and the subtract. So then they can literally just go like this, as opposed to keep flicking it over. They've got all the vocabulary at once. Then the next 2 sheets are 2D shapes, and then 3D shapes. Sorry, they're a bit, because they're new, they're a bit hard to flick over. What have I done? There we go. So then you've got 2D shapes, 3D shapes on this side. And then the final sheet on this one is British money. So if you live in the UK, you know that we've got a new £1 coin. Some of the coins look a little bit different, and our notes are being phased out, so our notes are different, some of them. Just the £10 to go yet now. So that's those ones. Those are the maths ones. With the maths ones, they're going to be underneath my maths wall, so these won't be on the tables all the time. The children will just take these as and when they need them. So let me just flip that. Oh, sorry, I'm so cack-handed, one-handed. Put that to one side. And then I also have an English one. So again, these won't need to be on the tables all of the time. And my English wall is purple, so I used the purple rings for this one. And I got these on Amazon. They were quite pricey, but I like having the coloured ones, to be honest. And again, all of the bits are from Twinkle. So this tells you what an adjective is, and then the next 2 sheets are different adjectives that the children can use. So again, it's like a full-on word bank. So you've got that for adjectives, for people, for different feelings, objects, the size of something, how long something is or how old something is. Then you've got it for verbs. So it explains what a verb is. And then it has the 2 for verbs. And sometimes children find things like thoughts, because a verb obviously is, as they say, a doing word, they do find it hard sometimes to think of things like thinking as actually something that you do. So I'm really pleased they've got that one in there. Then we have adverbs, which will be quite a focus for year 2 this year. So then you've got the 2 different pages of adverbs. So you've got how, when, how often, where, how much, and then more. And then you've got nouns. Now I've put nouns at the back, even though generally nouns they need to know first, because some of these we're not going to be going through what a collective and abstract or concrete noun is, to be quite honest with you. So I've put them at the back because I'm not sure that we're going to use them. Proper nouns we do, and compound nouns, but other than that. And then those are backwards, because if I just flip those back round, because on the back I'd already made these. So these are the same as the adverbs ones, but they're just spread out a bit more. So you've got how, 2 pages of how, when, how often, where, how much, and then more useful adverbs. So I already had made these ones, so I've done them on one side and then done the other ones facing that way. So when they're using adjectives, verbs, they primarily go from this side, and then the adverbs will primarily go from this side. So there's 5 of these, one for each table, but they'll go underneath my English working wall until they need them alongside the little booklets. Then I have these ones. So again from Twinkle, and these are reading area challenges. I've made 2 of these. There's the other one. And the reason there's 2 is because there's so many, I've just spread it across the 2 frames. So they're all different. So choose a new book, start reading in the middle and try and guess what will happen. So they can test their predictions. Can you find any rhyming words? Write a list of characters you can see in the pictures. There's all sorts of different ones. What is the character feeling? If you look in this one, what have we got? 5 words in the book that begin with the letter D. Tell a story to a friend, that's always a good one. So the children, when they're in the reading area, if I'm not with them, I can say to them, "I'll choose yourself a challenge." And then they can just have a little flick through and decide which one they want to do. So I thought they were really fun. And then the final ones are my table ones. Now there's 10 of these. I have 5 tables and I have 5 different colours. So I have emeralds. Oh, let me just swap hands. Rubies. Diamonds, topaz, and sapphires. So those are my 5 tables. They were the same 5 colours last year. I just called them by the colours. And when I saw Twinkle did these gemstone groups, I was like, oh, that's just a little bit more interesting than red table, yellow table. So they will now be birthstones or precious gems. And all of these are the same. Let me just press that. All of these are the same. So I'll go through the emeralds one. Starts off with a letter formation sheet. So we're going to be doing cursive, so that's why I've chosen this one. Sorry about that car going past, I think that was actually my dad. And then you've got writing prompts to help them when they're doing their writing, to remember what they need to include, and this is always a good one. How to make the perfect sentence. So again, for some of my children to remind themselves when they're editing more than anything, because this one, the writing prompts, I would leave up when they're writing, and then this would be more when they're going through and they're editing their work, so that they can check for each of these things. Because sometimes they get a bit confused when you ask them to edit, not quite sure what you want them to do. Then we've got the sound families. This is quite small, but I thought it was quite useful because some children do find it quite tricky sometimes to think which oi it is, what sounds make the oi sounds. So I'll look here and go, oh, which one do I think my word needs? So you've got all sorts of different families on here, some longer than others, as you can see. Then we've got days, months and numbers. They don't often, I mean, my children don't write the date. We have like little learning labels that we stick in their books. But one of what would you say, sort of the aims for Key Stage 1 is that they need to be able to spell all of these. So at some point or another, these will be handwriting words. And then we've got the Year 2 Common Exception words. Now, for some reason, they had these ones in a set with those when I downloaded these from Twinkle. And then they had these ones. So some of the words are the same, some of the words are different. So I did both. I wasn't 100% sure why they had them. I think this one is alphabetical and then that one is more of just sort of all over the place. So I'd done both. I got a bit confused. So they've got both in there and they can use whichever one they want. And then, oh, I can't get it. And then the last couple of bits, got some conjunctions. I expect my children to use conjunctions a lot in their sentences now. I've actually got the same class as last year, so we've been focusing on this a lot. And these ones generally they use, but it's more using some of these, as Twinkle put it, awesome conjunctions. So as well as and whereas, actually being able to use that correctly into a sentence. And then the last 2 sheets on here are different vocabulary. So this would just be a challenge. Some of these words won't work with some of the things that we're doing, but it could be that there are certain children that I challenge to use a certain word, and I would circle the word on here in a whiteboard pen that can wipe off, and then I would challenge them in using that word in their writing. Same with these ones. Like I've got children that if I said, oh, I want you to use the word formidable, this is what it means, or nourish, this is what it means, and then they would try and use it in their writing, and they love a little challenge like that. So it could be that it's a secret word circled. So those are my IKEA Tolsby frames. I am hoping to add to these. I have got some other ones to print off, and I want to make some of my own rather than just using the twinkle ones, because I want to make word mats for each of our topics to go in that one. And there are some other bits of maths that I'd like to put, like some fractions bits, in that one. So I hope that if you're a teacher, I hope that's inspired you. If not, I hope you found a different use for these, because I think these are brilliant value at £1. They're really sturdy. And then I'll link to the book rings that I've purchased, and I have also got these ones from Amazon. They said they were 1 inch, but they're actually a bit too small, hence why my diamonds ones on gold ones. And I thought for the little books they're better, but they don't quite fit on these ones. So I'll link them anyway, but just bear in mind they're too small, but they are the right size. And I'm sure you can get other ones in the silver in the right size. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.